Greetings, friends, wherever you are, welcome. I'm glad to be back, and I'm looking forward to meeting or talking to some of you in due course. Picture a young man meets a young lady, and she's very good looking, she's beautiful, very feminine energy girl, facing a few life trials as comes to most of us, and the young man is like straight away, he really likes her, but he is not very clued up. I'm sure that I don't need to tell you that the outcome was not what he was hoping for. And this video is some things that I learned when I was a younger man, during this time frame. It was about a 3 to 4 year time period, and it was quite a long time ago now, maybe 20 odd years ago. Because it was a long time ago, the events are not going to be in any particular order. They don't have to be, because it's actually the lessons and advice and points that are going to be more important to take away. I sometimes think back to that episode, and I've got lots of things that have happened to me in life, like I guess we all do when we've been on this earth a while. And if I was sitting across the table from a younger version of myself, who was about to try and achieve this goal or make a relationship happen under the circumstances that I was in, there are some things that I would really wish that I could tell him. So rewind 20 odd years ago or so, I had some friends who lived in the capital city from the country that I'm in, and they had a friend of theirs, this girl, who came out from England, and she had come out to spend time with her mom, who had been diagnosed with cancer. And our mutual friends had arranged a barbecue, and they had invited a few people around, and I was there a bit early, and I met this girl, and my guy friend said, "You've got to meet this girl, she's first class, top drawer." And I had opportunity to start talking to her, and my friend was actually right. This was a very nice girl, attractive, very ladylike, feminine, and I just found that I could just talk to her naturally and easily. And so from about that point, I had occasion to either take her to coffee or see her at friends' houses, but she wasn't staying anywhere where I was at, and so our meetings were quite spread out, and she would go and spend time with her mom, and it was always great to see her, and I always felt that when she and I got talking alone, we could talk for hours and hours and hours about lots of stuff, deep stuff, and there was something there, though, that I didn't understand, because when we seem to be around people, there always seemed to be this air of awkwardness between us. And I recall that we ended up at a couple of weddings of mutual friends of ours. We once went out to this bar, and a couple of the times where I was expecting some chemistry and something to start happening, it just didn't. And I was quite perplexed about this, and frankly, I was just clueless as to what to look out for and what to avoid. And she went back again to England, and we stayed in touch a little bit. And I think a few months or a year after that, she came back out here, and we kind of had that same sets of experiences where whenever we would meet, we would just get on very, very easily well. And I didn't know back then what the friend zone was. I didn't have a clue. So I'm not going to get to that point just yet. But in my life in general, I was doing okay. I didn't have any huge goals that I was working towards. And it sucks for me to have to say this, but looking back, I just didn't have a purpose. I was doing fine in my work, and things were fine, but yes, I was just fine. And I did have time to go and see her and spend the odd few hours with her when opportunity presented itself. But once again, we would go out to a place where I thought, something I'm sure can happen here, and it didn't. It just fell flat. I felt tongue-tied. She seemed uptight, and the most embarrassing, well, it's not most embarrassing, but I thought that she was out here seeing her mom. She's got a lot of stuff on her mind. Our country at that time was going through a very, very turbulent time politically and economically. There was a lot of uncertainty here, and for some reason I didn't initiate or bring things to a head. I just thought it would be fine, and there was a time that I went over to England, and I made a plan to go and see her. And when I made plans for us to go out and have a bite to eat, she asked if she could invite her flatmate along as well. And at that point, I kind of thought, okay, yeah, something's not quite right here. And eventually, sorry for rambling on, I made a call to her, and I said, look, this is how I've been seeing things. What's going on? And she just said that no, she didn't feel the same way about me, and that's life. And I was a little bit embarrassed, but it really hit me years afterwards, just how very, very small things get missed, certain things that a lot of young people don't know about, and as you grow through life and you go through trials of various kinds, you start to realize how expensive and costly mistakes in your youth end up being. And as I think I mentioned, this is not by any means a good, well presented clip, but I am determined to share to whoever might care to listen some things that I messed up and things that I should have done differently. I want, if this can help somebody, then this video will be worth it. So I'm going to give some points. They're not in any order, and I do hope that they can help somebody out there. First thing, I assumed that I had time. You're fairly young, you don't have major tie downs in the career that I've been in. no hectic deadlines. I didn't have kids. Life was fairly easy-ish, and I couldn't see. Um, I think that when you're young, it's very easy to not be able to comprehend just how time goes by so quickly, and you actually don't have time. You don't have time to drift through, or I hope this will happen, or that might happen. And you are, I was, maybe because I was young and I was a little bit more carefree, I did just feel more hopeful. I just assumed that over time things would kind of work out. She was a nice girl. I thought I was a nice guy. It never occurred to me that actually, as nice of a guy as I was, or as nice of a guy as I believed I was, maybe that's not what that girl needed. Maybe she didn't need my niceness. Maybe she needed a man who had a purpose, who was doing stuff, who was occupied. And looking back, I had my work, but I didn't have an all-consuming purpose. I was doing okay, but if I'm honest, I think that I was just drifting through that period of my life. And I just didn't see the high cost of just how much time I was handing over. And this ease or this drift, and because I liked her, it was quite easy for her to become the prize that I was after. And of course, I've been told by lots of men and women also that a lot of women don't really want to be the prize. They want to join a man who's going for something big, other than just a girlfriend or to get married. And I was that guy who wasn't who I should have been or could have been, simply because I just didn't have a clue. And I guess that in that sort of drifting and things seeming to be so good when it was just her and I, and then in more social environments it seemed a bit off. That made me unsure, and I just thought I must try harder. And of course, that also was probably a bad thing. Also, because it's like the harder you try to hold on to something, it seems that it's easier. It becomes, things tend to slip out of your hand more and more. You going for this, and you're trying harder and harder and harder, and that is just not. Going back to who I was back then, I would love to just shout back in time, hey, Richard, just stop. Just take steps back and stop trying hard. And it gives me no joy to have to admit this, but looking at the whole 3-year, 4-year time lapse, it sucks to have to say this, but in truth, I don't believe that I brought a lot of or enough masculine energy to that friendship. And it's not probably because I didn't want to. I just didn't know that was probably the big thing that wasn't there for her. And of course, if I hadn't brought a lot of masculine energy to that friendship, how could I expect there to be polarity? And so if I had got it all right, if I had a purpose, if I was doing my own things, if I was bringing masculine energy to that, if I had brought things to a head sooner, quite soon, and just had a direct conversation, and I said, look, I really like you. I'd like to see if something can happen here. Even if I'd done all of those things right, it doesn't mean that I would have won her either. But the version who might have got things right would have been a much better version for that girl to see than who I think she actually got to see, if that makes sense. So, wrapping it up, here are a few pointers that I would go back in time to my younger self and say this. Whatever you do, whether you're a young man or an older man, I say this respectfully, do whatever you can to go out and find a purpose, and the bigger the purpose that you can find, I think that the better it will end up being for you as a man, to you and for you. How you go about that, there's lots of ways, but I would say to me, Richard, go out and find a massive, hard purpose. Just have that in there and start working away at that. Another thing is find out what masculine energy is and develop it, incorporate those traits into your habits until they become automatically a part of how you live your life. The world is desperately short for strong, masculine men who have a purpose. And I can't say this authoritatively, but I think the girl that you are gonna like, or the girl that you do like, probably is more attracted to a masculine man than a man who's not very masculine. work. And there are two things, two huge benefits for rising up on that spectrum of masculinity. It is going to do your life a world of good. You're going to be more driven. You're going to have more purpose. You're going to have more reason to go out there and get stuff done. You will feel better. It'll be a bit easier for you to be more disciplined. You'll go to gym a bit easier. Just if you are a man and you are going to start working on strengthening up and developing further masculine energy traits, I can't vow this, but I think most of you will thank me for encouraging you to do this. Second thing about that is that the more masculine energy you exude, when you come into the orbit of a lady, if she is in her feminine energy, she is going to be more drawn to you. And when you come into the orbit of a woman who is in her masculine, your two masculine energies will repel. And I don't want to open up a whole new subject of masculine and feminine energy on this talk now, but if you are becoming a more masculine man and it's going to benefit you and you are going to attract a feminine energy woman into your life, you don't want to be attracting a masculine energy woman into your life, because it's going to be very, very difficult. Masculine and feminine energies, for want of better phrases, can rise and fall in both men and women. It's just a handy way to keep a simple energies that either attract or repel. And as I said, if you are becoming more of a man and you're more driven, decisive, you lean in, and you meet a woman who's in her masculine, you are going to be just fighting the whole time. So it's a good thing. It's gonna do a lot of good for you, that masculine energy development. Start taking responsibility for everything around you. Start with your immediate family. Make some long-term financial plans. Set stuff up. Get things organized. Get your life organized. Invest in good friendships with successful people, with happy people, with people who are doing great things. Get organized. Build up an awesome life that is energized. You've got a lot of stuff that's going on, and a number of women that you meet are going to be drawn into your bigger picture world than if you just sitting at home watching TV, doing nothing. This might be hard, but do your absolute best to improve your communication skills. Communicate directly. Bring things to a head soon. If you meet that super nice girl, don't just wait around and hope that it'll all be okay. And, you know, if you see a girl, you talk to her, you think there's potential there, go up to her and respectfully communicate and try to find out what might be going on between you two. And even if she says no, and it's a bit painful, most decent women will have a measure of respect for you for coming up, initiating, and being upfront, honest, and open with them sooner, rather than just dragging things out and being vague. And in my story that I had, case in point, I should have called her up and had that conversation a lot sooner. And last of all, I know it goes without saying, if you are in your 20s or younger, if you are in your 30s, 40s, 50s even, if there is one thing that I have learned in these last 25 or so years, you don't have time. You do not have time to waste. Grow strong, get organized, find big purposes, settle down, build a family, build a legacy. But I can assure you, as you get older, for most of you, life is going to get faster and faster and faster. So please don't make the mistakes that I made. Please take my exhortation seriously. You don't have time. Get focused, make a plan, move forwards, create stuff, build stuff, go out and have an awesome life. I'll see you in the next one.